So another question is, what is everyone else doing? What is the film industry and television industry doing? Well, as I said, Final Cut Pro 10 made a huge decision when it chose to not honor the overall length of the timeline, to expand it or decrease it depending on what clip was being put on there. That was one of the biggest problems I think most industry professionals have with it. So honestly, what most people are doing is they are just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. They're either sticking with Final Cut Pro 10 or with Avid. There is a well-known special effects guy by the name of Alex Lindsay who's gone and worked and consulted on a number of different movies, and he said that most production houses have one computer in the back that has Final Cut Pro 10 on it. People play with it, but they're just sticking with what they're comfortable with, what works well with their workflow. A lot of these different companies have huge workflows where multiple people are working on something, and the change to Final Cut Pro 10 for these large production companies is a big step for them. What are the ACAD schools doing? Well, Michael did a really nice thing for me. He went out, he asked a whole bunch of schools, and these are the responses we've gotten back. The Montserrat College of the Arts is still kind of deciding. They're not 100% sure. At the time of me making this video, they were waiting on a demo from Apple on Final Cut Pro 10. SAIC is choosing to use Premiere Pro for the intro level classes, and the upper level classes are going to be using both Final Cut Pro 7 and Final Cut Pro 10. The California College of Art also is going to have Premiere for their first year programs, and they're just going to hold out on Final Cut Pro Studio 7. The Cooper Union is basically allowing is going to have all three applications on all of their computers, and they're still going to mainly, it seems like, teach Final Cut Pro Studio. And once again, all of these colleges have this option because they probably chose to go with Final Cut Pro 7. So that still works on Lion and the next generation Mountain Lion. We do not have that option because we have one version slightly older. And the College of Creative Studies is actually going with Avid. Another thing to consider with this is cost. So Final Cut Pro 10. Final Cut Pro 10 is available from the Mac App Store at $300. There's no educational discount. And then we would also need an audio application. That would be Logic Pro at $200 from the Mac App Store. Overall, $500. If we wanted to add in the additions of Motion or Compressor, those are both $50 each, so it would be a total of $600 or $550 if we just wanted one of those two. Premiere Pro CS6. Currently we have the Adobe Web and Design Suite, which is $550. We would be upgrading to the Adobe Master Suite, which would allow us to have Premiere Pro in addition to Adobe Encore and Adobe Audition, as well as SpeedGrade, which is the thing that allows us to do color. That would be $800 per seat, and this is going to be a total of $250. All of the different costs that I'm getting here for Adobe are coming right off the Adobe website. I'm not sure if we are getting a special deal or anything with this, so the price might be a slight bit different. On the other end, for our students and for faculty, you can be a part of the Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. A one-year contract is required, but then it's only $30 per month, and you get access to everything which is in the Creative Suite, which also includes Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, etc. That's going to be a total of $350 per year with the one-year contract. Once the subscription's done, though, you can no longer use those applications, so it's $350 per year. How does this all break down? Well, Final Cut Pro and Logic seems to update every 2 to 3 years. That's going to be at $500. Premiere Pro is part of the Adobe Suite, and that updates every single year. They've said that their cycle is going to be a 12 to 13 month cycle. If we split the difference between 2 to 3, 2.5, that equals out to approximately $200 a year for Adobe for Final Cut Pro and Logic, or $195 a year for Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. Once students are graduated, this is where things really change. It's still going to be $300 plus $200 from the App Store, the same price that we pay for our graduated students to get those professional apps. If our students want to upgrade to the professional Adobe apps after college from the educational versions, it's going to be $800 just for Premiere, and then an additional $350 for Audition, which is $1,150 total. Or if they want to get the production suite, which would also include Photoshop and After Effects and SpeedGrade, that's going to be $1,900. Or they can also choose to go with the Creative Cloud option, which is $75 per month or $50 per month with a 1-year required subscription.